I don't think this is just about who's cleaning the
Yeah,
house.
I don't think so. It's not.
Ron's biting his tongue a bit because he wants to keep the peace, but like things like that piss me off.
Speak to him and I'm gonna just be like, babe, honestly, I get it. Yeah. It looks malicious because it's like you're just coming for
Yeah,
him.
I'm not gonna lie.
And
Okay, I feel some type of way about the incident that happened with Shaq and Ron because I think everyone is throwing Shaq under the bus when Shaq is not the only person responsible. The only difference is he actually walked to the fire pit to say, Ron, you need to stand up. But in the kitchen, all the guys were moaning and complaining that Ron needs to come and help. So I don't get that bit. One, I don't get the fact that Ron is now playing innocent as though, he didn't do anything. He was disrespectful in the way he sat there and was grinning and looking at them. Two, I don't like the fact that Lana is now throwing Shaq under the bus, given the fact that Ron and Shaq are fighting because of her, because Shaq was trying to defend her when Ron was sort of playing with her. And I don't like the fact that Tanya threw Shaq under the bus. That's her partner. She should be ride or die. She should have pulled him aside later, but she should have either kept quiet or she should have spoken up for him. And I didn't like that bit. Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, please leave a like and a comment and don't forget to subscribe. So the islanders are at the fire pit. It's recoupling. And as to be expected, Kai recoupled with Olivia, Will recoupled with Jesse, Shaq with Tanya, Tom with Sammy. I did call it that. I don't think he's that interested in Claudia. Claudia recoupled with Casey, and Jordan was left to do the dirty work and send Tennille home, and he picked Ellie. I thought his speech he was given by the producers. That doesn't seem like Jordan. I thought he was given by the producers to sort of try and throw people off because he made it seem he was choosing someone who he might not be romantically connected to, but was friends with. And given the fact that everyone, when Shaq was asking, was saying that Tennille is not romantically interested in Jordan, but is saying that they make good friends. So I think the producer set that up. And I think Tennille, on her part, wasn't happy to stay in the villa anymore. I think Tennille, after uncoupling with Kai, I think she realized that she didn't have a connection with anyone. She was in a friendship couple with Ron, and I think even if she might have liked Ron romantically, she didn't want to sort of rock the boat with Lana. And so I think she might have spoken to the producers and said, I'm not happy to sort of pretend to be attracted to anyone or to have a connection with anyone, and I'd rather go home. And I think this is why they made it seem like Shaq sort of instigated her Jordan's decision and sort of Jordan sending her home. I think Tennille is the one who wanted to go home because she said she wasn't connected to anyone, and even the bombshells that came in, she didn't find a connection with them because the way she was so relaxed and so at peace with going home. I know Zara was the same way, but I think that there was a conversation with the producers and she opted to go home because I don't get how she would go home after they sent Zara home and they would keep people like Ellie, Lana that don't bring anything to the show. But anyway, um, at the fire pit, once the coupling is finished, Olivia stands to run and sort of give Tanyel a hug, and it's like, why? You didn't like Tennille when she was in the villa. So what's changed? Why are you pretending to cry? Why are you pretending to be upset that Tennille is going home? You were the one who was instigating fights. You were the one who was creating commotion and sort of gossiping behind Tennille's back. What's changed since then for you to suddenly shed tears for Tennille? After Tennille packed her bags and was leaving, I was surprised that Olivia still, when Tennille walked off, was still crying. And it's like, you're not that close to her. Ron is her closest mate in the villa. So I don't get why you're suddenly so upset that you're shedding tears. Lana was also crying and just like, the person I would have expected to cry was Sammy because Sammy's the one who spent a lot of time with Tennille. So once Tennille leaves, you get Ron and Lana sitting and chatting and, sort of talking about Tennille leaving. And I'm surprised that Ron, given the fact that he spent most of his time with Tennille, shared a bed with Tennille multiple times, he didn't seem that bothered. He didn't seem that upset. And it's like, it- something is not right with him. Someone he called his best mate, that's someone he was closest to in the villa. So how can he be so calm with her leaving and not even appear bothered by it? I didn't get that. And then suddenly, after Tennille's left and Ron has had his conversation with Lana, we see Ron in the kitchen talking to Kai, and he's sort of saying, I don't get this divide between us. And Kai is like, oh, some of these people I wouldn't talk to them on the outside world. And it's like, well, some of them or most of them wouldn't talk to you either. So it's a two-way street. So it is what it is. And we get to see Will, Shaq, and Tom and Casey sort of laughing and joking. And for me, I think the divide came in because I don't know where Jordan was really. I think the divide came in the sense that Will called out Ron for the way he was treating Lana. And I think this is where the divide came in. And I think the fact that Tom pulled Lana aside before recoupling and told her that Ron is not good for you. You need to choose somebody else because he doesn't have your best interest at heart. I think that's how the divide came in because Ron couldn't stand that people were sort of holding him to account because of his actions. And I also think the fact that Casey was upset with Ron and Lana for the way they treated him. I think this is why there is a divide. Because if you look at it, that's the only reason why there's a divide. And I think Kai is friends with Ron because Ka- Kai will never say anything. Kai doesn't give his opinion about anything. He just keeps his mouth shut, and that's it. And this is why I think there is a divide. Kai should not have any issues with the other guys. His only issue should be, they haven't said or done anything to him that might upset him in any way. So I think this is where the divide came from. We everybody gets ready for bed and they go off to bed. Obviously, they're still talking about how they're going to miss Tennille in the morning. There is a debriefing, and it's sort of addressed about the division in the villa amongst the boys with Ron sort of saying, I want us to squash it and I want us to go back to giving each other advice. And it's like, so that's the reason why there is a rift. Because even the way they sat in the morning, you could see that there is definitely a rift. There is, the five guys on one side, plus Kai and then Ron on his own. And Ron is not willing to take responsibility for his actions and actually look inside and think, what did I do that's causing everybody else to have issues with me? That's how I felt. So the boys are then told that they will prepare the evening meal. For the girls, it will be a three-course meal. So some of them own up, they're not great cooks. So they're going to come up with a plan of how to do that after everybody, gets ready for the evening meal, they sort of assign each other tasks on what is going to be done. And Tom, Will, and Casey just stand there because they say they're not good at cooking. I think they should have been given tasks or something to do. They should have got them to set the table. They should have got them to chop up stuff and whatever. Because Will was saying at home, he normally just sets his table and waits for his dad to sort of get the food ready. So I understand that bit. I know they did help with some of the little things like sort of putting in the salad and stuff and were providing entertainment, but I think I don't know. Everybody seems to be enjoying themselves. And it's I know people said Ron cooked. I don't think Ron cooked as much as people are making it seem. I think Ron cooked because Jordan was there. Jordan wasn't saying anything. So I think Ron and Jordan cooked together with Shaq and Kai. Um, Obviously the servers, it was agreed that Casey, Tom, and Will would be the servers, so they were sort of the waiters and sort of brought the ladies to the tables, served the food to the ladies, and Will at one point provided entertainment. The conversation is the same. It's the same conversation. It's always, oh, I see us working on the outside. I see, and it's like, can they not talk about something else apart from I see us working on the outside? Because that seems to be the only conversation in the villa. So after the evening meal, Ron walks across to Lana, Olivia, and Tanya, and they're clapping for him. Thank you for a nice meal. Thank you. And it's like he didn't just make it on his own. If they wanted to thank someone, they should have thanked everybody. So in the kitchen, you have Jordan, Kai, um, Shaq, and Tom. And the other three are the ones that were mainly involved in the cooking. And as I said, I think the people that didn't cook should have washed up. Anyway, they start off by saying, how is Ron having a chat when we are all sort of, cleaning up? He needs to come and clean up with us. So they were calling him jokingly. It's not like they did it once. They were joking about it. And even Kai, Ron's best friend in the villa at the moment, actually called him out and said, you need to come and help us. And he kept sitting there, was just laughing. And it's like, it's not a laughing matter. I would have stood up and said, and gone across to them and just told them, I'm sorry, but I helped with the cooking. Whoever didn't do it needs to take, part. And it's I know everyone is saying, oh, because they have beef, that's why. No, Will and Casey were only called once and they stood up and they went to help. So I don't get the fact that Ron suddenly felt aggrieved. And the fact that Lana was so outspoken in her, oh, that was disrespectful. He disrespected you. He did this, he did this. Ron has got a mouth of his own. He's able to speak up for himself. I didn't like how Tanya behaved because I think the more she spoke, the more she put, fuel onto that fire and made it even worse than it was. And then suddenly you have everyone trying to make Ron out to be this angel that people are picking up on. And the fact that Lana is now so upset that I didn't like the way he spoke to you, it wasn't acceptable. Shaq is the only person who walked across and said something. Everybody in the kitchen wasn't happy with Ron. So to make it seem like it was only a Shaq issue, I don't get it. And she has no right to have an opinion about that because that's nothing to do with her. At the end of the day, the reason why Ron has beef with these guys, as I said, is because they were defending Lana. Had they not defended Lana and called him out for his actions of turning for every bombshell that came into the villa, he wouldn't have an issue with them. So I didn't like that bit. And the fact that Olivia started to put fuel onto the fire as well, I didn't like that bit. That was nothing to do with her, unless Kai brought it to her that, I'm upset that this is what I did and Ron didn't do anything. That was not her business to say, and that was not her place to comment. So I didn't like that it was suddenly blown out of proportion. And I think the producers know what they're doing because every time there's a public vote, they make Shaq out to be the bad guy. So I didn't like that because the last time there was the issue about the case and then they put it out to a public vote. This time there is this issue with Ron. They put it out to a public vote. So I didn't like that bit. And the fact that Tanya said she was going to have a conversation with Shaq, but we weren't shown that conversation. So it more or less seems to me like they're trying to get rid of Shaq, and the only way they can get rid of Shaq is to make him look like the bad guy. I did not like that at all. I did not like that at all. Anyway, I'm in my feelings. I really am upset about it. But anyway, I digress. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everyone.